Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Tony Sirianni podcast. I am thrilled to have my friend Nate Schelhass here with us today from Principal. And Nate's the head of benefits and protection. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, yep.
You got a lot of titles, I know. You do a lot of things.
I do really responsible for the business owner segment in benefits and protection, and then our broker dealer and our principal financial network.
It's a big job. I want to talk a little bit now that I have you here because you and I have talked a little bit about this, but there seems to be in the wealth management space, there's always been just for some reason some resistance to life insurance, but there's so many, opportunities and things like that. And we'll get to the small businesses because I think that's a really unique opportunity, as well. But eh, the opportunity for revenue, the opportunity to make your book stickier. I mean, if I'm sitting in a financial advisor's chair, which is really our, audience, um, how do you address that?
I think you hit on a couple things right there, Tony, letting people know how valuable this life insurance piece really is. And not just life insurance, disability income as well. Any of those risk products are really important for some of the reasons you listed. But also just for the benefit of your client. There is a recent study that EY published that talks about holistic planning, and it looks at assets, it looks at annuities, and it looks at life insurance. And they've done one with whole life and one with an indexed universal life. And it doesn't have to be a fancy indexed universal life, but in almost every demographic, every age range, every type of saving you're trying to do, that holistic view is better for your client than just assets or just assets and annuities. That three-pronged approach ends up being a better approach for your clients, in addition to making that business stickier, to driving more revenue, for making the value of your book worth more.
Well, and advisors have kind of done the hard part, right? I mean, they have hundreds of clients, sitting on the books, and they, I think, if you were to take a survey, everyone sort of fancies themselves holistic planners, right? I mean, that's where they want to be. They want to sit in that seat. And me just having done this, I would much rather have done this a one-stop shop than, try to go around to different places. I wonder. Uh, how holistic is holistic planning in your opinion if you're not touching on these other things?
No, I think you said that with a smile on your face. So I think and I think I know what you think is that if you're only doing one sliver, that is what you're doing. You're only the asset person, and then they have to have an insurance person, then maybe something else. And if you're all of it, then you do become that one-stop shop. And Tony, I think one of the struggles, honestly, is a lack of familiarity and a lack of understanding of how the life insurance or the disability income might work.
Totally agree. But I want to put it in a little bit of historical context because when I started out as an advisor in New York City, was a broker, and we had an insurance guy who used to walk around the office, and he was somebody that you can go to come sit in on cases with you. I mean, everybody had to get their life license at the time and everything else. And then the firms, this is my opinion, I think the wires decided that there wasn't enough in it for them. So they started pushing bank products and things like that. And then the insurance kind of drifted away and advisors stopped paying attention to it. I mean, I suppose you get, you know, revenue drives, interest and results maybe in a lot of cases, but that historically that was, interest waned. Now everybody likes to do banking, and it's like more important today than ever as the
I agree 100%. And I also think there's a little bit of a shift in society, honestly. It's easier for people to say, I'm going to invest my money and I get a return, versus I'm going to buy a life insurance policy where that return may not be as obvious or that may not benefit me. It's not that instant gratification.
Well, let's talk about it's harder to sell that. That's more difficult to sell. I mean, I always respected like because I've done it and it's not that easy to do. You got
Yep.
to hold the both husband and wife have to be there at the same time. You've got to make sure that you're painting the right picture because you're paying for something today that you don't have in your pocket.
No, you're exactly right. And Tony, if I could put a plug in for Principal Financial Network right now, you may know Principal for what we do in the group benefits space, the retirement space, our asset management arm, but we have a great network of affiliated advisors. And you mentioned this word, there's this team. And that happens in the Principal Financial Network where you have a team of people that can come alongside and help you with those insurance sales as well. So it is a hidden gem, if you will, Principal Financial Network. It's affiliated advisors, affiliated groups where you can grow your own practice with a big support engine behind you. So it is just picking on some of the things you said, it's a great opportunity and a great way to approach some of that holistic planning.
Well, and you said that the world's changing a little bit, and certainly our world in the advisor space has changed tremendously over the last. I mean, more change in the last 3 years than the last 30, right? I mean, it's just been amazing.
Nuts.
And
Yep.
advisors are moving to this independent space, moving from wires where I think there was a restrictive, what you could do and you can't do. So now a lot of people have the opportunity to do it. But just based on what you said, they don't have the expertise, they don't have the connectivity, they don't have the teaming. And, a lot of firms that are being built today are being built without an insurance element at all. I mean, I'm talking about these RIAs that have 100, 200 advisors, people are excited about them, but at the same time, they don't have the sort of depth of product that they could have. It's a shame.
Yeah. And it's scary going out on your own, quite honestly. It is not an easy thing to do. And so having the independence to be your own boss, if you will, but having the opportunity to be a part of something bigger, to be supported by, the Principal Financial Network, it is a great avenue for growing your own practice, but also feeling that support system and not feeling like you're out on an island by yourself.
Yeah, and also not just the support, but the ability to do more business. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I like the
For
chance
sure.
to, yeah, because insurance is complicated. It is difficult to sell. It is, right? So if you had somebody who knew what they were doing, you have a client who trusts you and you can bring in an expert. That seems to me like, a real win-win.
It absolutely does. And I know we both know this, being the age we roughly are, but you're starting to see people impacted by whether or not they have insurance. I was at a conference recently, and the tongue-in-cheek mantra was, we want to put GoFundMe out of business. Because we want to provide insurance for people so that you don't have to get those emails from the school or from the team that says, hey, so-and-so's dad died and they didn't have insurance and they're trying to raise money. Yeah, that's just heartbreaking. And so these are the things we need to do.
And it's just, I don't understand how you do estate planning without insurance, right? That seems to be how do you do it?
You don't.
Right, you don't, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you don't, or the lawyer recommends somebody else, and then you all of a sudden your client's with somebody else.
Correct.
That's something to worry about, I think.
Yep.
And I think also, like I said, in the indie world, the idea of being with a firm that allows you to be independent, but also has sort of a deep bench, that's critical. Having built those firms, I know it's hard to do. I did want to talk about your expertise and your knowledge because of where you sit in the small business stuff, because that's obviously, small business and large business. We have not only small businesses, but and you can, I mean, we can talk about all the different insurance opportunities there, but also, people sell businesses. That's still in advisors' books. One of the ways their wealthiest clients are usually, business owners, right? I mean, so
yeah.
Talk a little bit about what you guys are doing there, because I know we chatted.
Yeah, and thanks for that, because it is a great opportunity. And your comment about advisors working with business owners, you are exactly right. And what our research has found, there's a few things I'll share with you. First, business owners, they want to protect themselves, so they want to make sure their families are protected. They want to protect their business, and then they want to protect their employees. And a financial advisor can come alongside and help in all three of those areas. We talk in the insurance space a lot about this, 12, 13, $18 trillion insurance gap. There's also this $14 trillion value of business that is going to be transferred in the next 10 years from one ownership generation, if you will, to another. What a huge opportunity for a financial advisor to come alongside and say, I can help with your succession planning. And
that's an entree. I mean, sometimes it's hard if you just call it up and say, "Oh, I got a bond, or I got this, or this fund, or an alt investment." That's one thing, but there's a lot of people calling with that. But here's something like a value add. I'm going to fix this.
Yep. And we start with a complimentary business valuation. Let's find out what your business is worth, and then let's find out what problems are you facing, and then we'll bring solutions to bear
So
to help that.
you guys are doing the valuations then. You have
Yeah,
a
we'll do it's an informal business valuation, but we have a group of CPAs and attorneys that work on this, and then we'll help put solutions in place to protect, again, the owner, to protect the business, and then we have group benefits as well. And so we can help protect your employees and take care of the employees. So it's kind of soup to nuts. We can help serve that business owner. And again, what you go back to, Tony, is you become a more valuable advisor to that client.
not only do I think it's more valuable, I think that's a way to find prospects. I think
Yeah.
it's um, look, are we talking like buy sell agreements? We're talking,
Buy, sell, key person, bonus plan. I mean, again, it's that whole gamut, Tony, where you tell us what problem you're facing, and then we will come alongside and help you solve. I've sat on some of these calls, and it is amazing to see some of the, Tony, I saw a husband-wife owned company once. The husband was sitting in the back with his arms crossed, wanted nothing to do with this conversation until they started talking about transferring the business to the kid and taking care of key employees. Suddenly the arms became uncrossed. He slid up to the table and he's asking all kinds of questions because suddenly there was a problem he had and there's a solution that we could bring to bear to help solve it.
well, he was never going to die until he started thinking. That was
True
the
story.
point.
True story.
So in that situation, is there a size limit? I mean, do we start at like, an EBITDA
No,
5 million?
there's really not a size limit. Again, it goes to what clients do advisors have? What businesses are they working with? Let us come alongside and help. We know things. We do a lot of surveys in the industry, a lot of talking to small business owners. We know right now many of them are uncertain or concerned about the economy. They're confident in their business, but I think 45, 50% of them are worried about kind of what's going on with tariffs. And advisors don't need to be deeply steeped in tariff economics, but having a broad understanding of what do they mean? Have you done scenario planning, as a business owner? Do you have access to capital should you need it? Have you thought about other distribution opportunities? Have you thought about other products? There is great wealth and great value a financial advisor can bring to business owners, not just product focused.
Yeah, and that strategic thinking has always, that's the value add that advisors just they again, I think all advisors want to be doing that, and they know. I mean, they have to act like psychiatrists half the time, and then they have to have knowledge of products, right? So I think the business opportunity is key to enhance what they already have. So they've already got their top guys. So here's the challenge that I would say, hey, principal or another, insurance focused or just has an insurance expertise based, firm, I'm going to lose out in sophistication of products. Well, now this discussion sort of says maybe not on the business side, which is critical. But I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, when someone says hey, there's less sophisticated products and services in the insurance side.
So
Well, they've never done dollar cost averaging, right? So
right. I don't completely disagree, but I think you can get started in some of these conversations really easily with business owners. Simple questions. Do you know what your business is worth?
Yeah.
And so many business owners don't. And then you figure out what the problem is, and it doesn't need to be something complicated to solve that problem. Right? You want something a business owner is going to understand. You don't want something super complicated. So if you have a key person or buy sell agreement, maybe term insurance, which is again is your most basic insurance, that's probably okay.
Yeah.
And why do you want to overcomplicate solving a problem? So simple questions. You know what your business is worth? Do you have a succession plan?
But in those complicated situations, you have the expertise to deal with it because that's what I'm saying. These guys are saying, oh, they can't handle my high end guy. They don't get it.
Yeah, and we'll come alongside and make you look like make the advisor look like a hero. We have people that are really good at this that I've seen advisors work with them the first time kind of with a little trepidation. It goes so well. The next time they're like, hey, it's my best friend here. And so it is something that you use once, you realize the value, and they do make you look like you know what you're doing.
And then, for the advisor, you sit in on one or two of these sessions, and then all of a sudden the light bulb goes off, and you realize that you can use this in a lot of different sections, not just for what you have, but also prospecting out there.
100% agree with you. And it's like everything else. You do it once, you're a little bit scared. You do it the second time, you're a little comfortable. The third time, you start learning, you start understanding, and you can start, you know, doing some of that work yourself. You maybe bring them in at a later stage, and you get to that point where you know what you're doing. You know, and then we bring alongside of that, Tony, the plan management. So it's not just insurance management or product management. It's you manage things as a plan. So if you have a couple bonus plans in place, a non-qualified plan, key person, we can put it all together and help manage that in totality.
And what about education for, folks who are coming from the wealth management side and just want to, do you guys do that? Have
Yeah, especially within the Principal Financial Network. We have training readily available. We have folks that will come out, meet with you, talk with you, go through it. And not only that, one of the great things about Principal Financial Network is you have people that get brought together across the country, relationships you can build that you can tap into, that you can learn directly from, people that you can ask questions to, that you trust, and they will help you succeed. They want to that whole office to be successful. It's not, I want to be successful at your expense. I want to lift everything up. And so it goes back to being a part of something bigger and not feeling like you're out on an island all by yourself.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like a good culture. I mean that's really what you want when you're sitting there trying to figure out. And I think advisors are at, there are a lot of advisors at a crossroads. I kind of think like the next big thing for advisor is this advisor plus tax, accounting, plus insurance, plus, trust, plus, all that stuff. I just think it's what can you add to sort of give to your client as is sort of in the next step, right? How can you earn your pay?
I agree with you 100%, and it goes back to what you said earlier as well. Not only what can you add, but how do you grow your practice with the client base that you have, and how do you make that client base stickier?
Yeah,
So it serves a number of purposes.
and that's what advisors are thinking about. So they're, look, everyone's 55, 60, a lot of people, and that means their clients are 80, so they're all addressing these concerns. And then you're concerned about how do you get the next gen. And you guys actually have a bench, right? I mean, you do a lot of hiring and I think that's a crucial element because it's one of the most difficult things, succession, and then also how do I find a teammate? How do
And
I
not only that, how do you help that next generation learn the business?
We're an apprenticeship business, man. We are, for no question about it. But how do you do it? If you're out there as a single, provider, it's very difficult.
Extremely difficult. So it does. It serves as a good way to onboard folks that want to get into the business, that want to learn, that want to see other successful people. We have folks that have been in this industry for 20, 30 years that are our elite advisors. They show up to the first time qualifiers and they meet them, they talk with them, they encourage them, they share best practices, they share tips, they give them their phone number, call me if you have questions. And you can just see the face of these younger folks light up when they see these people that have been doing it and been successful for so long, willing to invest and take time and spend with them and help teach them.
Nate, as an industry, we've gotten away from it. It is an apprenticeship business. We got out of the offices, and then the big offices are gone, and people are spread out all over the place. It's hard to impart culture. It's hard for advisors to see what the future is if they don't have a chance. And you get so much good energy from young people. You know what I
Oh,
mean? So it's such a positive.
I agree with you 100%. And we jokingly say there's only two ways people get into insurance. Either their parents were in it or by accident. And we
Right.
need to change that and try to be more intentional in getting people in this business.
Yeah, well, look, I feel like that's a high note. I feel like I want to
All
like I'm like Jerry Lewis, right? Trying to get out of Dodge. But look, this is very interesting. Let's continue this conversation another time. We have a lot to talk about, I think, on this topic. So appreciate your being here.
Tony, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thanks for what you're doing as well. It does make a difference and we need more of it. So thank you.
Appreciate it.